Chapter 54 Sugarloaf and the Temple of Celebration. Yi Qingmei? Fan Xian's heart was overwhelmed with shock, and he subconsciously whispered the name out. He couldn't have imagined, no matter what, that his own old mom's name would actually appear on the stone monument in front of the Supervisory Academy. His face remained calm, but his heart was incredibly agitated. Why would his mother's name appear on the monument in front of the Supervisory Yuan? Although Miss Yi was the richest woman in the world back then, it was impossible for her to enjoy this kind of treatment that the emperor could not enjoy. What's more, the strange death of Mom in the end must be related to the princes and nobles of this Qing country, although Uncle Wuzhu said that in that storm 10 years ago, the enemies of the Yi family had been killed by all of them, but who can guarantee that the relatives of those enemies didn't remain in the court? Even now, Yi Qingmei is obviously still a taboo name, and all of the Yi family's property has been filled into the inner treasury, turning the Yi family's business into a royal merchant. The supervisory board so blatantly put the 3 words of Yi Qingmei at the door, although Uncle Wuzhu said that not many people in the world know that his mother is called Yi Qingmei. But the royal family holding the kingdom of Qing must know that President Qin is too bold. Is not even the face of the royal family are not in the eyes? But after seeing that short stone monument, Fan Xian finally understood the words Uncle Wuzhu had said when he was in Tanyu. Not many know that the young lady is called Yi Light Eyebrows, and those idle people beside her just call her young lady, but the name Yi Light Eyebrows, even now, I think. It is also very famous in Kyoto. Fan Xian rubbed his hands, lowered his head and walked forward, thinking that everyone in Kyoto is afraid of the supervisory Yuan door erected such a piece of sign. Yi Qingmei, this name, really want to not famous is also very difficult. All of these mental activities only happened in a very short period of time. He gathered the expression on his face, gathered his sleeves, and walked expressionlessly towards the east, as if he had not seen this name. It was also because of the sight of the sign that Fan Xian could not help but think of the Prime Minister's daughter that he was about to marry, and from what his father had said, her mother, the eldest princess, was now in charge of the estate that had originally belonged to the Yi family. If there was anything in this world that he himself felt that he should rightfully own, then this estate should be at the top of the list. It was a very subtle feeling. Originally, from the mouth of Tu Zijing, Fan Xian already knew where the Lin family's young lady's home was now, but knowing the woman's background and identity, and that this Kyoto was a place of hidden dragons and crouching tigers, he definitely did not dare to sneak away to spy on the incense. He came to the supervisory Yuan to find Fei Jia teacher, is to through the supervisory Yuan's heavenly means, find a way to see the woman on the bed of the stalking Mian, but also want to ask the teacher to help look at the girl's condition. Unexpectedly, Fei Jia was not in Kyoto. Fan Xian was a little annoyed. Do you really have to wait until the time of the wedding to know what the other side looks like? No, he admonished himself, must find a way to peep, in case there is anything wrong. He escaped the wedding or have a preparation time. As he walked, Fan Xian became even more annoyed, and he sadly realized that he had just arrived in Kyoto, and was completely unfamiliar with the roads, and after walking back and forth on the Tianhe Road twice, he actually couldn't find where his family's carriage had been placed. Happened to see a child took a string of sugar gourds in the chewing sidewalk, a sniff of the sweet flavor. Fan Xian will feel incredibly nose familiar, hurriedly ran forward, snatched over, took a bite, with the taste to confirm that this string and earlier eat the string from the same stall, which opened his mouth to ask where this store. The child was frightened, thought he had run into not masked sugar gourd robbers. Finally was Fan Xian's 2 coins to calm down, seriously pointed in a direction. Fan Xian followed that direction and walked for a long time, and then sadly realized that the child was taking revenge on himself, and that this place was obviously not where he should be. This place had actually reached the fringe of Kyoto, and Fan Xian didn't know that, otherwise he would have been very proud of his own footwork, and saddened himself with his own intellect. This place was desolate, and there was a temple. In the bustling city of Kyoto, it was not easy to find such a desolate place. To say desolate might not be accurate. To be precise, it was exceptionally clean. Not even a speck of dust could be seen above the flying eaves and beams on the temple. He looked up at this black wooden structure in front of him, and couldn't help but think of the Temple of Heaven in Beijing in his previous life, only that this temple in front of him was much smaller, and it looked a little less mysterious, connected to heaven's destiny, and a little more of the beautiful atmosphere of the human world. The front door was painted a deep black color, looking very solemn. On the door is a flat horizontal plaque, written on it, Qing Temple, 2 words. Fan Xian used his tongue to lick off the sugar residue stuck on his teeth. Looking at the 2 yellow fonts representing the sacred above his head, his heart surged with an indescribable emotion. This was the Temple of Qing, the only place in Qing that was rumored to be able to communicate with the ethereal temples of the gods, the royal temples that sacrificed to the heavens. When he was in Tanyu, Fei Jia had said that the Temple of Heaven was 3 miles away from the Imperial Palace in Kyoto, and Fan Xian had always thought that it was 3 miles away from the Imperial Palace, and had never imagined that 3 miles away was a place name. Fan Xian's mouth was wide open. Before he came to the capital, he had thought that since the people of this world were unable to find where the temple was, he must come to the Temple of Heaven to take a look, because the questions that had been haunting his heart for 16 years, he didn't know whether or not he would be able to find the answers here. Why did he come to this world? When he read novels in his previous life, Xiang Xiaolong had a reason, and so did the later traveling multitudes, and then there was no need for a reason. But Fan Xian himself was deeply puzzled. He needed a reason that could explain why he had been reborn into this world when he was clearly dead. It never occurred to him that being casually directed by that child had brought him to the Temple of Celebration, a realization that gave him a slightly dizzying feeling that perhaps there was some sort of very mysterious connection, a very marvelous bond, that was hidden between himself and the temple. He firmly believed this, firmly believed in this kind of destiny brought about by a candy cane. Stepping forward, surrounded by silence, Fan Xian gently pushed open the heavy wooden door that hadn't been opened for what seemed like years. "Stop!" A stern voice came.